I've been asked to make a video on the sine and cos rules. I'm going to start with the cos rule. What we've been asked to do is to change this into a slightly different form. So the cos rule in itself states that a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos theta. So in other words, if you had some sort of triangle that looks as such, and let's say this was angle theta, here it is, and let's say this was side B and this side was C, and this here was side A. Now A is the side opposite the angle. In other words, this is the side which subtends, and there's a great word, isn't it? It subtends. It's spread across the angle there. It stretches the angle apart, if you like. So angle theta is subtended by side A, and we want to rewrite this equation so that theta is actually the subject. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So I've got a squared. I'm going to restate the question. So a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos theta. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract b squared and c squared from both sides. So subtract b squared from this side and subtract c squared from this side. So now I've got a squared minus b squared minus c squared is equal to, and of course these now we can cross out because they've been resolved, is equal to negative 2bc cos theta. All right, so now what I'd like to do is divide both sides by 2bc. So I'm going to divide this by negative 2bc, divide this by negative 2bc. Of course, negative 2bc divided by negative 2bc is 1, leaving me with cos theta. At this point, I have put cos theta on this side here. So now I've got, and I'll just rewrite this here, I've got a squared minus b squared minus c squared all over negative 2bc. Well, we don't normally put the negative on the bottom, we put the negative on the top. So if I was to multiply the whole thing by negative 1, I was to multiply the top by negative 1. Let's do that now. I was to multiply the bottom by negative 1. Let's do that now. Notice we're not multiplying both sides by negative 1. We're just multiplying the top by negative 1, the bottom by negative 1. And this works perfectly well. So I'm going to put theta equals, I put arc cos for a moment. I put everything now inside the bracket. But negative 1 times all this lot would be negative a squared plus b squared plus c squared all over 2bc. Well, I've got this negative in front. I don't really want the negative in front. I can tuck that in, though, behind over here. So I'm actually going to take this element here and just pop it in behind there. And by doing so, I actually have less components. Here I've got one negative and two pluses, but I want to be as succinct as possible. So what I can do, if this works out, I can go b squared plus c squared minus a squared all over 2bc. And now I've got one plus and one minus. Here I've got two pluses and one minus. So this is a more succinct way of expressing the original equation. So I would tend to use this, and that would be the way of making theta equal. That theta should probably go inside there. In fact, let's make it go inside there now. Here we go. Again, a bit of planning is required here, and as you can see, I have a complete lack of planning. I'm just sort of going with the flow and seeing where these things take me. And often I end up in a place where I don't want to be, but this has worked out okay, and that would be the way I would express theta.